So it was March 2000 when I resigned after only 6 months. It was a thriving company and a dream job for somebody else. For me, it wasn't a fit, and I wasn't a fit. And I had to leave because my self-confidence was unraveling. It wasn't an easy decision. I didn't have another job lined up, and I was sole provider for my family. I also had this growing feeling that I needed to step out on my own as a solopreneur. I now had over 15 years of marketing and communications experience in the technology sector, and man, that industry was booming. But start my own thing? How would I do that? Give up the steady paycheck? Security? What if I failed? What if I ended up destitute? What if it wasn't a good time? You know, the what ifs were endless, exhausting, and pointless. So I stepped out. My entrepreneurial journey had begun. Talk about a rebel without a clue. Now, ironically, the company I just left became my first client. And soon after, I got other clients. And 6 months later, the tech sector completely melted down and my phone stopped ringing for 6 months. So that happened. My next entrepreneurial venture was a company I started with a friend in 2007. Yep, 6 months before the 2008 worldwide market crash and recession. Seriously? Fast forward to September 2020, my friend and business partner Colin and I launched Fluency Leadership. Yep, bang smack in the middle of the global pandemic. Damned if I was going to be caught off guard this time. Now, between these ventures, I took on senior full-time roles because who says you have to do one or the other? And these gigs opened up new opportunities like working at a global organization. And they gave me new skills and experiences, all leading me to where I am today. So why am I sharing this story? Well, people mistakenly look at my career of change and reinvention as a well-planned, intentional march forward towards a certain destination. And nothing could be further from the truth. Now, it hasn't been aimless. The through line of my work is helping people and organizations find their potential and improve. But the path forward is always uncertain, unclear, and fear-filled. As a cocktail, it would be 2 parts self-doubt, 1 part angst, a healthy splash of I can't do this, topped off with a sprig of catastrophizing. But here's what it taught me. There's no such thing as certainty. We only have to look at this past year to know that. You know, we want it, but we can't predict the future. Now, all my career changes started with a restlessness, a persistent whisper, an invisible nudge telling me that there was something else I needed to do, somewhere else I needed to be. Where that was, what it was, I had no idea. It was a vague whisper, not a detailed plan. And I call that the fog. And the fog is a tough place to be. The fog is ambiguity, and we sure as hell don't want to be there. It's dense, there's no clarity, you can't see your hand in front of you, it's wobbly, it's uncertain, and it's uncomfortable. And your fears live in that fog, the what ifs, the should ofs, the self-limiting beliefs. See, I believe we don't fear change. I think we fear the ambiguity. And ambiguity is a danger zone. It stands between where we are now and the change that we want to make. It's where the journey begins and the work of clarity and getting to it starts. Making decisions about our future requires clarity, not certainty. And we have 2 choices. We can feel our way through the fog, fears and all, and ask ourselves the important questions of, what do I want? What do I know to be true? And how can I get there? Or we can retreat to the comfort zone, the status quo. And if you're languishing in your status quo, second guessing yourself, feeling underwhelmed and underutilized, believing there's something more, something else. The only way to get clarity and make a change is to step into that fog and embrace it. You see, ambiguity and change are two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. Now, the good thing about the fog is it eventually lifts. We become clear and we get closer to our purpose. So what's calling you? And what's the change that you want to make? Thank you.